Good morning, colleagues, the Mpisi and the Mufukeng families. May we all remain standing for a moment of silent prayer and meditation, except for the family. Thank you. We may all be seated. Good morning to our Honourable Premier, members of the Executive Council, the Chief Whip, leaders of political parties, the Mpisi family and the Mufukeng families. Let me also acknowledge the presence of the chairperson of the Education Portfolio Committee from KwaZulu-Natal, Honourable Sonjika, who served with Honourable Mpisi for years in the committee. Let me also acknowledge all comrades, dignitaries present, and all those that are watching this sitting online. In terms of Rule 81, Sub-Rule 1C, the national anthem must be performed at a designated special and extraordinary sitting. Therefore, this is a special meeting in honor of Honourable Mpisi, but I'm also aware that there are members who couldn't make it because of other challenging tasks that they had to deal with. And I'm just hoping that Honourable Delange will be fine, because I just got a message that she is involved in an accident as she was coming this side. Although she is okay, but you know that process can take time. I think we are sending people to go and check her. I hope she is well. I'm now going to call upon all members to stand up so that we can actually sing the national anthem of South Africa. Thank you. We may all be seated. Honourable members, the past week has been a very difficult week for the people of Gauteng and members of this August House. But let me also thank the Premier, who was with Honourable Mpisi shortly before he passed on. Thank you very much, Honourable Premier, for giving the support to the family, because I know that you were there. At least you saw Honourable Mpisi. When I got a call from you that things were not okay, I knew what to do. Thank you very much. But also thank you very much for providing the support to the family throughout the week. You've been present in the life of Honourable Mpisi while he was still alive, and even when he passes on, you were there. Thank you very much. I'm going to request the Honourable Chief Whip and Honourable Ramulifo to join me as I go to drape the seat that Honourable Mpisi was sitting on. Can you join me? I pick up on you because I know how you work with Honourable Mpisi for years, since he joined the Gauteng legislature, including the Chief Whip as the leader that is leading us in the caucus. Thank you. Thank you very much. We may all be seated. May I request the Secretary to read the first order? Secretary, can you read the order?
Tributes by various political parties to the late Honourable Member Joe Mpisi.
Honourable Butara.
Madam Speaker, Honourable Premier and members of the Executive Council, members of the legislature, leaders of all political parties represented in the legislature, to the family of Comrade Joe, I greet you all this morning. Honourable Joe Mpisi was born on the 12th of November 1966. It was in this month, just a few days prior to his birth, that Che Guevara arrived in Bolivia, where he planned to lead a guerrilla war against the Bolivian government. 1966 was a year with many notable events throughout the world. The world was characterized by the ever-shifting geopolitical landscape. The Aberfan disaster in South Wales took place in October in the same year, which saw more than 144 people killed, 116 of them children. This disaster laid bare the nature of capital and its level of consciousness or unconsciousness in the pursuit of profits, often at the expense of workers' rights, and sadly in some instances at the expense of lives of those workers and their families. Protests and demonstrations in the years preceding the mining disaster fell on deaf ears. Mine owners and managers were warned about the potential risks of their dumping activity, but they continued to pillage and extract value for themselves, while placing the lives of workers at risk. Comrade Joe Mpisi grew up in Soweto, Meadowlands, Zone 5. He started his schooling at Rishile Primary School and thereafter moved to Mawila Higher Primary School. He then progressed to Lamula Jubilee Senior Secondary School, where he matriculated. All three of these schools are still in existence, having been built in 1899. Soweto during the 60s and 70s was equally characterized by heightened political activity. The site of youth consciousness and uprisings, Soweto would be the epicenter of the student uprisings 10 years after Honourable Mpisi's birth. I have no doubt that as a young man, as young as he was at the time, I have no doubt that he was aware of the conditions that surrounded his education as well as his community. I would imagine that his awareness would later direct him to his own path in activism, starting out in his teens. Involved in fighting against student oppression imposed by the apartheid regime, Honourable Mpisi began a life that he would live and lead up until his untimely death. He participated in township struggle activities led by the UDF, the United Democratic Front, the Mass Democratic Movement, and the African National Congress. The dark times defining the lives of people living in townships was characterized by exclusion, disenfranchisement, and oppression, and this spurred him into activism. Troubled by these socio-economic conditions, Joe Mpisi joined the ANC in 1980 to continue the fight for human rights. 1980, the year of the Charter, with SACTU having declared 1980 as the year of the worker. Massive national school boycotts rocked many townships throughout the country. 1980, a year that saw many political events which further shifted the political landscape in South Africa. Comrade Mpisi enrolled for public administration at Wits Technikon, now known as UJ. He also worked there as a sound engineer. The struggle of workers' rights was very close to his heart, and this led him to joining the Transport and General Workers Union and thereafter the National Education, Health and Allied Workers Union, ONEHAU. During his employment at UJ, Comrade Joe served as a shop steward. He despised the exploitation of workers and represented them to ensure that they retained their employment. His involvement in workers' rights did not end there. Comrade Joe also served in the leadership of NEHAU as a regional chairperson, provincial chairperson in Gauteng, and thereafter as the first deputy president of the organization. This alliance culminated in Comrade Joe serving the South African Communist Party, where he has served as the Gauteng provincial chairperson for 2 terms, and a position he was still holding until his untimely death. Comrade Mpisi served in various boards which oversaw education, as well as played a critical role in the higher education transformation and oversaw the merger of institutions of higher learning. As a public servant, he worked tirelessly in ensuring the continuous enhancement of our country's policy framework. His comrades, direct reports, and broader public witnessed how he handled matters of service delivery. They witnessed how he handled matters of policy, as well as matters of public interest with exemplary leadership and dedication. Yet still, he understood deployment in the provincial government and his candidature in the SACP as an instrument of bettering our lives, our people's lives, and never once used his deployment to elevate himself. Though a provincial leader, Comrade Joe had a national and international outlook to life. His convictions, though robust at times, were always sent across with respect and due regard, even with those who held opposing views. Bra Joe, as he was fondly called, Comrade Chair to others, was both versatile and flexible. He will be remembered in this noble light as a leader and yet as a servant, a teacher and yet a student. Tasked in the ANC caucus with leading political education, none of us would have guessed that when he convened us just over a week ago, it would be his last session. It would be his final bow, his last goodbye. Unbeknown to us all, he bid us farewell, possibly in the best way he could, by still carrying out his responsibilities, still doing what was expected of him until the very last, a student throughout his life and a teacher until the end. Rest well, Bra Joe. You will be sorely missed. Your straightforward approach to matters, never shying away from raising issues, no matter how uncomfortable they may have been. A true compatriot, a man who personified speak truth to power. Your voice in this House, in portfolio committees, in our caucus, at political school, in the broader alliance, and in Gauteng as a whole, will be sorely missed. To your family, thank you for sharing your husband, brother, father, grandfather, son, and uncle with not only Gauteng, but the rest of South Africa. To the party, the SACP, COSATU and its affiliates, the African National Congress and all its structures, and the broader mass democratic movement, we say farewell to you, Bra Joe. To the parties that he served with in all the portfolio committees, SCOPA, the chairperson of SCOPA, to the portfolio committee on education, and to the education team as a whole, you have lost not only a voice, not only a person who stood out looking for the best interests of the sector, but somebody who could keep everybody together. As you depart, may you greet the fallen heroes and heroines of our struggle. Greet the fallen members of this House. Greet ordinary South Africans who you may have shared your entire life with. As we say goodbye to you, may you now rest, for you have also suffered in your last days right until the very end. To the ANC caucus, may we carry on in his name, in the manner in which he would expect of all of us, disciplined, dedicated, and true to ourselves and true to those who we represent. May we never forget what Comrade Joe stood for. May we never forget how Comrade Joe could always keep everybody together, often being the glue that held not only the alliance, but also across parties together. May you rise in glory. May you rest in peace as we say goodbye to you, and thank you to everybody who has been able to share in your life. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Honourable Ramlifo.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Honourable members, PC family, and people of Gauteng. We are gathered here today to pay special tribute to a colleague who was objective, fair, and open-minded. Many of us are shattered. Words are not enough to express our sadness. Honourable Joe Mpisi, at the time when he was not well, he kept going. His passing came as a shock because it was at the time when he said he was feeling much better. We thought he will recover and continue to serve our people. I remember he used to say to me, "My brother, you must do regular health checkups. Don't wait to get sick or get old to my age, because you may discover some diseases such as diabetes or cancer. So ensure that you know your health. These words motivated me to exercise regularly. I've been striving to maintain a healthy lifestyle. I'm currently enjoying the benefits of regular exercise. It's not easy to sustain this practice, but it requires discipline. Bra Joe, as I fondly call him, we used to communicate regularly. When he became chairperson of Finance Committee, he used to say, I'm neglecting him. I then said, come back to Education Committee. We won't miss each other. It happened that he rejoined Education Committee. Our relationship was back again. Now and then he will complain that he's not feeling well, but he will be fine. I will then tell him to remain positive and he will be fine. He was passionate about his work. He loved his family. He performed his task with due diligence. He was a real diplomat. Under his leadership, the committee successfully made a number of interventions, amongst others to assist in the relocation of school named Nonediba Primary School, which was located in a farm in Sidiweng. After successful intervention, they were moved to a new state-of-the-art site in Golden Gardens. We conducted an oversight to this school and did follow-ups until the final resolution was found. Further successes include, but not limited to, requiring an intervention to build Simpato Secondary School and the completion of LG Holele Secondary School that had so many challenges due to incomplete workmanship and shoddy work. The department began to pay close attention to farm schools in the province during his tenure. He held a view that we must target the most vulnerable communities. Under his stewardship, the committee once conducted a one-of-a-kind meeting for all managers in the education district to come and account for their individual districts. It was in this meeting that sat until midnight discussing issues in the education department. The late Honourable Mpisi did not shy away from adopting tough committee resolutions, such as the blacklisting of service providers who were not delivering according to the standards, and further called for the dismissal and removal of officials who did not live according to the mandate of the department. Though this position put him under pressure, his life was under threat at some stage, fighting corruption. The committee could even intervene when employees of the department had a conflict with their employer. The committee called a meeting with the department, some of its supporting unit, IDSO as it's called, in a long-standing dispute regarding tools of trade and other benefits. The matter was successfully resolved. I remember I proposed that we combine oversight visits and committee meetings, start with school visit and convene committee meeting at the last school instead of separating these two activities. The idea was to see things for ourselves and engage departments, not only relying on the reports. He also supported joint committee meetings to ensure that there is alignment and no blaming games. He was willing to support ideas that will benefit the committee and the sector as a whole. We will remember him about his passion for schools that he said were on the periphery of the province, in particular, such as farm schools. Though there's one school I need to mention that he was very concerned about and still no solution as yet, that's Kwade Dangendlale in Zola. His best moments are that he will stop teachers at schools with whom he perceived they were not properly dressed. He will ask if they think the way they are dressing do inspire confidence amongst learners. Do you think you can instill discipline wearing jeans? He will caution teachers wearing political and union regalia during school hours. He used to say, I'm a unionist myself, but we must always encourage self-discipline. Don't hold meetings during school time. He kept saying he leads the well-dressed committee in the legislature. Look at the members and staff. When we tell learners and teachers that we are members of parliament, there's no doubt, and that we do inspire confidence. When the communities raise issues with us, they look at us and believe that indeed we will resolve their issues. After oversight visit or before, he used to call us and have informal briefing. We discuss our expectations and approaches. If we're sleeping out, he will call us to join him in his room. At some stage, he will come to portfolio committee meeting driven by his son. That's how he was dedicated to his work. He never treated support staff badly. He used to read the reports, he used to prepare. His approach was inclusive. He listened to different views and encouraged maximum participation. He was multilingual and very fluent. Some committees always have problems in terms of quorum, but when he led the Education Committee, we never had such a problem, mostly because he was fair and objective. He allowed us to make suggestions and proposals. They will be included in the term program. To the family, friends, colleagues, and comrades, receive our deepest condolences. We understand your pain, though we all will likely face loved ones passing away at some point in time, but it doesn't make it any easier. Grieving Brajo will never be easy, but knowing that you are not dealing with it alone can help. Let me leave you with these few biblical verses. Matthew 5, verse 4. Blessed are those who mourn, for they will be comforted. Romans 14, verse 8. If we live for the Lord. And if we die for the Lord. So whether we live or die, we belong to the Lord. John 14, 1-2. Do not let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me. My Father's house has many rooms. If that were not so, would I have told you that I'm going there to prepare a place for you? Brajo has touched so many lives. He leaves behind a proper legacy. We will dearly miss him. We will miss Brajo. May his soul rest in peace. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Makwala. Don't forget to switch on. It's okay.
The family of Comrade Joe Mpisi and all political parties here. As the EFF, we bow our heads and send our heartfelt and deepest condolences to the family of Mpisi family, friends, his political homes, the ANC and the SACP, and the people of Gauteng whom he served with distinction. We have not only lost a noble and graceful contributor to the democratic process in the province of Gauteng, but someone who took his deployment of being a public representative in the Gauteng legislature as a calling to serving the people of the province. We will never forget the valuable contributions Ntate Mpisi made in the portfolio committees he served until his passing. Honourable Mpisi was such a dedicated, non-partisan leader who took his work responsibility very seriously and did so with utmost passion, dedication, and respect. We know this from our encounter with him in various committees, such as the Finance, the eGov, as well as the Education Committee, and in particular, his commitment to serving the interest of the life of a black child in his role as the chairperson of the Education Portfolio Committee. Honourable Joe Mpisi understood what was to be done and did so with distinction. Members can attest to the level of professionalism and leadership he provided without fear or favor. The spear is fallen. We can only hope that the family, friends, staff, and the ANC caucus and the entire legislature will be able to bear this loss, as this is a loss that affects all of us as the family in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature and the people of Gauteng. Gauteng Education will agree with us when we say, in Honourable Joe Mpisi, we lost a great strategist of note, and we are sure that the Premier and the members of the Education Portfolio Committee can agree with us on this, that we have a duty to continue fighting corruption and paving a way to all deserving learners and schools in our province. We owe it to Honourable Mpisi to work together towards providing an enable environment in our schools in this province. With that passion he had for the education of a black child, we are pretty sure that Honourable Mpisi could not find sleep and peace at the beginning of each academic year. When he finds thousands of Gauteng grade 1 and 8 learners still fighting for placement at our school across the province, he could not find peace when he discovers that it is only a black child who must queue to access education in this so-called democracy. We believe that this communist is leaving us with a heavy heart. when studies recently found that 81% of grade 4 learners in South Africa cannot read for meaning. He is leaving us with a heavy heart because our education system is failing the black nation. There are simply no words to express our shared pain of the loss, more so to his family during this difficult period. To his family, we want you to know that here lies a man who was hardworking, who was upright, with a strongly independent and critical mind. He never sought fame, acknowledgement, and praise for himself. He had a demeanor that could put you in your place without a single word. But at times, inside was a person of generosity, a sense of humor and love. Love for his colleagues, love for his comrades, and love for his support staff in the legislature. But the greatest love of all was for his people in this province, especially his learners in our schools. He spoke truth to power. He was a freedom fighter, and we promise him as the EFF here today that your struggle was not in vain. We will pick up the spear and fight on, just as we have picked up the Freedom Charter that was carelessly discarded, and carry on to making sure that our people receive total liberation, not only from racial and economic discrimination, but by ensuring that our children receive free, quality, and decolonized education. To you, Honourable Mpisi, you played your part. You respected our views as the EFF. You corrected us where we were going astray, because at the end of the day, you were honest, decisive, and non-partisan when it came to the work of the legislature. We thank you for fighting inequality and injustice to the end, because you refused to be corrupted when it was fashionable to do so. To the family, we say, Khumtserang, to his legislature family, especially support staff in all the portfolio committees he served in, we say continue to do good in his honor and pick up the spear. Lalangotolo, we as the EFF will continue where you left off, unashamedly so. Rest in peace, Honourable Member. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Makwala. Honourable Dilange, welcome. I thought the message that we got was that you were involved in an accident. They didn't say you were held up in traffic because of the accident before you, but we're thankful that you were not caught up in that accident. Thank you. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and I am grateful for being here as well, because it was rather touch and go this morning. Madam Speaker, family and friends, colleagues of Honourable Mpisi, the Freedom Front wishes to express sincere condolences with Mrs. Mpisi, the children, other family members, and friends of Member Mpisi. We would like to pay tribute to the late Member Mpisi on this very special day, being Ascension Day today as well. I'm delivering this message of condolences and support on behalf of the party, the Freedom Front Plus, and especially on behalf of Member Alberts, who served with Member Mpisi in the Education Committee. Member Alberts expresses his sincere apology for not being able to attend the sitting today in person due to family matters. And I'm reading now, as Member Alberts wrote, "It is a privilege to deliver this message to a family of a very special man. I started out as an MPL in 2019, and over the time I came to know Member Mpisi quite well. At first, it was on professional basis, but later our relationship became more personal. On a professional level, Member Mpisi struck me as an erudite gentleman who had the uncanny ability to strike a fine balance between traditional values and modernity. As an elder, he clearly understood the timeless values that emerges from tradition tested by time, but also the value that the novel can bring in making the world a better place. As it should be, commitment and discipline to the task at hand was his motto. While many people would simply talk about this, he lived this with his expectations that members of the executive and the legislative branches, as well as the respective employees, perform their work professionally, timely, and with a sense of higher purpose. What struck me was his commitment to make South Africa a better place to live in, his resolve was so strong that he could even question decisions made by his own party, not to undermine, but to ensure that the ruling party delivers on its promises. Therefore, he had a critical mind that would probe and conduct that he did not align with his sense of a higher purpose. It was also my exposure to Member Mpisi's personal life that cemented the view that he was a person with a higher calling. During the Education Committee study tour in Finland last year, I came to know Member Mpisi as someone with a healthy sense of humour and with a love of nature. We were privileged to be in Finland during the time when it was snowing. As we would drive to our meetings, he would express his wonder at the beauty of the snow and the strange natural world of Northern Europe that seems foreign to us South Africans. The cold, and it was very cold, did not seem to bother him, as his interest in the beauty of this new world and what it could offer us in solutions seemed to have properly fascinated him. Member Mpisi's keenness to explore and learn more indicated to me that he had been able to keep his childlike sense of awe and wonder that many old adults seem to lose over time. I can truly say that Mrs. Mpisi and the family of Member Mpisi, that for me, his passing is also a loss and fills me with sadness. I know loss myself as my father passed away in 2020 and I still miss him. Perhaps I can share how I deal with this loss in my life. I always take solace in the truth that the Bible brings to us about this world and that belongs to a life beyond this one. This is evident in John 3, verse 16 that states, "For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believed in him should not perish, but have everlasting life." We pray for God's blessing and strength to cover Member Mpisi's family and that he will carry them through this time. We thank you.
Honourable Makakula.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. Greetings to you, Madam Speaker, Honourable Premier Banyazali Sufi, all honourable members of the legislature, the family of Honourable Joe Mpisi and the people of Gauteng. On our heartfelt condolences to Mrs. Mpisi and the entire Mpisi family for the loss of their pillar of strength. We gathered here today to pay our last respect to the husband, father, brother, comrade, and to us, an honourable member of this august house. Comrade Joe Mpisi was not just a leader, but a leader of the note, who was always jolly, humble, and a unifier. As the ANC, we have lost an inspirational leader, political educator, a selfless and an all-rounder politician who was dedicated and always willing to serve and assist to any task given to him to execute. The people of Gauteng have lost a committed hero. Comrade Joe was the chairperson of Education Portfolio Committee since 2014 to 2019. And in 2019, he was deployed to chair the Finance Committee portfolio until October 2022, when changes were made in government. And because of the love of education, he requested to be redeployed back to the Education Portfolio Committee, where he was again the chairperson for the second time until he met his death, his untimely death. He has not been well for some time since his deployment to the legislature, but he will never miss any event of the institution without any unreasonable reason. He will stretch himself because he wanted to finish what he has started and would not make any excuses. We have lost a soldier. The entire legislature will never be the same without you, Comrade Joe. We're filling your gap right now. I want to let you know that asiphelelanga kushoda wena kule sitting. You left us at the time when we need you more, and you are approaching 2024 elections, which you were always saying 2024 needs people who are very much dedicated to handle such time. And for me, you are one of them. But now we are gone, but we will soldier on. We will work on the advices you taught us, but if it happens that we are missing something, please give us direction. We promise not to fail you. Noting that we will never see you again, as we are leaving this earth, don't forget to carry your ANC and SACP membership with you to show Utatu Madiba and Comrade Chrisan that azange ushiye umzabalazo endleleni. Also great to Comrade Tuliso, Comrade Lindiwe Lasindwa, and the others, and tell them that the center is still holding. Rest in peace, Comrade Joe. You will always be in our house. Thank you.
Thank you. Honourable Dlamini.
Thank you. Madam Speaker, Honourable Premier, Honourable members of the Gauteng Executive Council, members of the Mpisi family, friends and colleagues. Like all of us assembled here today, united in grief and sorrow, the IFP wishes to convey our deep and heartfelt condolences to the family, friends, the ANC caucus and the South African Communist Party, to which Honourable Joe Mpisi belonged. Honourable Speaker, it is said that words alone cannot heal wounds or lessen the agony of heavy hearts in times like this. But Joe Mpisi lived a life worth remembering. In doing so, I hope that his family and all of us will take comfort in the excellent actions, memories, and legacy that Honourable Joe Mpisi has given us. Today, the IFP remembers Honourable Mpisi as a compassionate and astute leader who never shied away from leadership difficulties. From his early career as a trade union leader until he was elected as a member of this House in 2014, Honourable Mpisi proved himself as an experienced leader, a consummate professional committed to serving many citizens in Gauteng. He was undoubtedly loyal to his party, but not blinded by loyalty. He was never afraid to speak up when he observed citizens being taken advantage by those in power. He had a stern ability to hold departments to account, urging them to fulfill their mandates and to improve service delivery standards in the province. He devoted himself to doing what was right and just for people of this province. To paraphrase the words of a Nigerian poet, Chinua Achebe, he understood that as leaders, we cannot sit back and hope things will work out, but we must then make them happen. His is a legacy of an extraordinary, faithful and disciplined member of this House that will live on in the memories of this institution for all times. We will remember him for his brilliance, honesty, sincerity, and humility among many commendable attributes, and not forgetting his smart dress sense. My own memory of Honourable Mpisi is that of our trip to Washington last year, where he was cheerful and full of banter. He did not let frailties of age get in the way of enjoying life. He enjoyed life in its entirety, never missing the opportunity to indulge in entertainment and sharing a good laugh while balancing the demands of our work. The IFP wishes to reiterate its sincere condolences to the Mpisi family, his apple eye, which was his boys, his friends, his comrades in the ANC during this time of profound loss. May the Honourable Joe Mpisi rest in everlasting peace, and may his contributions to our beloved province remain indelible. I thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Dlamini. Honourable Kanyane.
Honourable Speaker, the Premier, the Chief Whip, and honorable members in this house, I must really say, when I was preparing the speech, I couldn't finish a sentence. I had to delete whatever I was writing. But I've got pieces that I can send, and they'll be put together as a speech. And that shows how deeply one is affected by this death. Honourable Mpisi, I worked with him in no more ways than one. One, as a friend, not just a friend, a family friend. Two, as a comrade. He is my chairperson in the SACP in the province. Now, three, as a colleague. The three of us, Comrade Joe, Comrade Kolobe, we were deployed from the executive of the party into the legislature. That is term 5 and term 6. Now, we are the afflicted. But there's no point to rise in exasperation. Comrade Joe was sick. He always complained of cancer. Now he has succumbed to it. Now, we don't have any other ways except expressing our sincere condolences to the family. Comrade Joe, robala kakucho. We suffered a major blow. Apart from heartbreaking, apart from any personal anguish, his death is a severe loss to all of us. And I guess his death will continue to be with us, imprint in our minds. We know Comrade Joe. He was thoughtful. Confidently, I can say he was wise. He was home-hearted. That is Joe that we know. His simplicity, his nurturing style, his genuine respect to all of us will miss Comrade Joe. I know we had a trip to Venezuela with Comrade Mpisi and the Comrade Speaker. We're laughing all the way. The other character of Joe, cracking jokes all the way. That's Comrade Joe. But we know he was relentless. He was selfless, dedicating his life at the service of the community. You have seen it even during the elections, taking from the salary, making sure that it gets to the poor. That's Comrade Joe. I'll describe him as a revolutionary as explained by the late Fidel Castro, changing what must be changed. But now what is key out of all this? Having a sense of history. Not just change, having a sense of history. I'm saying this because during our political school in the Free State, I came back with Joe with the family. I had to cancel the flight. Now, when we were driving back, we reflected on our 15th Congress of the party, the issue of the state power. There is an article that defines the principle, the approach. Now, there are very key words that we have to unpack on the road. And it is important to share because they cut across and they will assist all of us as revolutionaries. One issue that we stick to, strategic consistency. A very powerful principle. And it cuts across the parties, where we have to be very careful. This free-floating opportunism across the structures, that's strategic consistency. This short-termism, history is very much important. And he was saying that because he rose through the ranks. He was a branch, he served in the branch executive of the party in Thokoza. He served as the shop steward at Vestec, still Gau then. And he served also as a sequel to what Honourable Mutala was saying, as a regional chairperson, the West region. And he served also in the province as the chair of Nehau. And also served as the first deputy president of Nehau, national. And we're reflecting about this. You grow through the ranks so that we have a sense of history. Whatever you do, you tap into the source. Now, the other critical principle, analytical alertness. Now, this analytical alertness is what came from Lenin. The capacity to provide concrete analysis of a concrete situation. Comrades must analyze. You must be informed by the dynamics that emanate from the ground. We know the science, people's organs for people's power. You must be informed. We went deeper into these items. The last one is a principle, tactical flexibility. That we should not always, we found ourselves flat-footed, even when things are wrong, but allowed to be guided by the principle of the organization. But don't be flat-footed. You know, Comrade Joe, and just echo what our General Secretary said yesterday. He will speak in every meeting. He won't keep quiet when things are wrong. He'll always raise his voice in protest. That was Comrade Joe. Now, in a nutshell, Comrade Joe was not a snob, was not a crank, was not a cynic. He always tried to make sure that he moves to his ability so that his work is not easily handicapped, even by less intellectual attainment. That was Comrade Joe. We're going to miss him dearly. I'm just speaking from the heart because I know Comrade Joe. We worked together. He fought hard. Before he succumbed, you have seen at the political school, we are all encouraged that he's recovering. But he was fighting. He's a fighter. Fighting that I don't have to die easy. He attended our recent PEC meeting. He also attended the Augmented Central Committee meeting that was convened recently as a fighter. And to Comrade Joe, we are saying, Robala kakucho. Ke a leboga.
Thank you, Honourable Kanyane. Honourable Randall.
Thank you, Speaker, Premier, honourable members, family here present. We are gathered here today, united in grief, to honour the life and legacy of a very special individual who touched the hearts of many, not only members, but officials, different stakeholders, communities where he served. We come together to remember Joe Mpisi, a dedicated public servant, a dear friend to so many, and for me personally, as the chairperson of the Finance Portfolio Committee and a fellow MPL. Now, Honourable Mpisi's untimely passing has left a void, not only in many hearts, but also in the halls of the Gauteng legislature, where he served with unwavering commitment and unwavering passion. As we reflect on his life, we are reminded of the mark he left on the people in all spheres of life. I remember our flights together to Cape Town to attend the delivery of national budget speeches and debates and participating in appropriation committee meetings, as well as often the NCOP meetings. And he would always make sure that all his members were taken good care of, irrespective of our political affiliation, and he would encourage members to contribute to our discussions in our portfolio meetings. He was never scared to instill discipline or show emotions, but at the same time, he easily showed appreciation for each of the members' individual contributions to our finance portfolios, programs, and the work we've done. He had a remarkable ability to make everyone feel heard and valued, regardless of their background or their station in life. Now, I often joked with him and I said to him, do you know, Member Mpisi or Chairperson, that me and you, we are Generation X babies because we are born in the same year. I'm also a 1966 baby. And that this generation was really known for growing up with minimal adult supervision. We had to quickly learn the value of independence. We had to know what the work-life balance was all about. We appreciated informality. We were technologically adept, flexible, and we often found people highly educated. Now you tell me if this was not exactly who Joe Mpisi was. Now, on a lighter note, I think a year ago, I was traveling with him to an e-government conference in KwaZulu-Natal, the conference in Durban. We were staying in a hotel in Umhlanga, and I would every morning travel with him to the conference. And the one morning, and the sons must listen very carefully now, he was telling me that the son would also always ask to use Dad's car, the Audi that he used to drive. So you would know whom I'm speaking about now. And he would tell me that, secretly he knew exactly where you were going, although you would sometimes not tell him the whole truth. But he would know exactly, but he would test you when you come back. He would ask you where you've been, have you done the study group work or whatever. But secretly that tracker always told him where his children was. So this is my message to the family. The tracker of Joe Mpisi can never be deactivated, never. He will always live in your hearts, in our hearts, our memories, the conversations we will have for many years to come. And I want to really leave this story that I'm sharing with you this morning, and to show the real relationship that I had with him as a fellow MPL and as my chairperson on finance. Now, he was more than just a politician. I'm sure he was a beacon of hope, a voice for the voiceless, and a tireless advocate for his constituents. Now, beyond his political accomplishments, Honourable Mpisi will be remembered for his kind heart and warm smile, always ready to greet you and to find out how you were doing, if everything was okay. He treated fellow members with respect and empathy, understanding that our shared humanity transcends any political differences. His ability to bridge divides and build bridges of understanding made him a beloved figure, not only in the portfolios where he served as a chairperson and member, but here in the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. Joe Mpisi's legacy will continue to inspire us as we mourn his loss. Let us also celebrate the incredible impact he had on so many lives. Let us be reminded of the importance of service, integrity, and compassion in our own lives, and strive to carry forward the torch that he has passed on to us. To his family, we offer our deepest condolences as the Democratic Alliance. Your loss is immeasurable, and we share in your grief. Please find solace in the knowledge that Joe's memory will forever be cherished, and his contributions will continue to shape the future of our province. May your happy memories give you peace and comfort during this difficult time. Today, as we bid farewell to a dear colleague, a friend, father, husband, son, let us honor Joe Mpisi's memory by recommitting ourselves to the same principles he treasured. Let us carry forward the passion, the dedication, and the unwavering belief in a better, more equitable future for all. Rest in peace, Joe. Your spirit will forever live in our hearts and in the values we hold dear. Thank you.
Thank you, Honourable Randall. Honourable Premier.
Thank you so much, Madam Speaker. Joe Mpisi family and relatives, especially his wife and children, members of the Executive Council, Chief Whip and leaders of political parties present here, honourable members, the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education from KZN Legislature, fellow mourners. Let me start by acknowledging and thanking you all in this House. We are consoled by the honor of this sitting, but we are further consoled by your speeches and visits to the Mpisi family. We truly appreciate it, and we want to thank you from the bottom of our heart. Madam Speaker, the hands that cared for us has left forever. The hands that shaped and sharpened my thoughts has vanished. The hands that built our country has been removed. The pillar that strengthened me has collapsed. A person that stood between me and my enemies has vanished. Joe Mpisi was a special person. Comrade Joe was a person of reason, a person of rational thought, a person who loved his country and his people, a magnet that attracted our thoughts, a magnet that attracted those even who differ with us, a cadre that understood our mission, a leader that knew how to respond to all weather seasons, a communist that made communism attractive. To speak about Comrade Joe's life and times without speaking about his work as a lawmaker will be an injustice. This is an area where he excelled in. It was at this legislature that Comrade Joe wore various caps at the provincial parliament for a period of almost a decade, serving as a member of the provincial legislature from 2014. However, it was his role as the chairperson of the Portfolio Committee on Education that he truly made an impact. It was under his speedy eye that we managed to push education in Gauteng into the next level, providing counsel when needed and holding the department to account when he felt we have not lived up to the lofty standards he so held high. When friends vanished, he remained. When those close to me doubted me, he believed in me. He was indeed an Iron Man, slender by choice, neat and perfect. Like any other person, he had his own weaknesses, but his strengths made weaknesses to be ashamed. I'm proud to declare that what brought us here, it's not death. What brought us here, it's not hatred. What brought us here, it's not anger, but a special person with special attributes. A man full of hope and aspirations. A man who loved his country and his future. A man who loved his movement. A man who loved his party. A man who loved his family. But above all, a community builder. They left their country of origin unchased and came to settle in our country uninvited, took over the fruits of our country, denied us dignity and our wealth. Out of that pain, a product of worker struggle was born. Out of that pain, a product of the system that declared us non-human beings was born. Out of that pain, a system that promoted hatred above love produced a leader of his magnitude. A system that was barbaric and senseless produced a leader that was full of sense. It produced men and women that loved and forgiven our conquerors, leaders that worked and not chased those who hated us. But it further produced leaders that cared, a product of worker struggle, a product of student struggle, a product of community struggle, a product of rent and consumer boycotts. Singing, noma siyafa, siyayifuna inkululeko, freedom or death, victory certain, no retreat, no surrender. And that there comes a time in a nation where there are only two choices, to submit or fight. And we chose to fight so that we can liberate this country. And we declared these freedoms we'll fight for, side by side, throughout our lives, until we have won our liberty. Even when we leave this world, Comrade Joe, what combined us will never leave us. Even when we depart from this world, Comrade Joe, what we committed ourselves to will never depart and leave this world. We want to commit, as I declare, what combined us. And what combined us is what our forebears and our leaders said and declared, and I quote, "We, the people of South Africa, declare for all our country and the world to know that South Africa belongs to all who live in it, black and white, and that no government can justly claim authority unless it is based on the will of the people. That our people have been robbed of their birthright to land, liberty, peace, by a form of government founded on injustice and inequality. That our country will never be prosperous or free until all our people live in brotherhood, enjoy equal rights and opportunities. That only a democratic state based on the will of the people can secure to all their birthright without distinction of color, race, sex, or belief. And therefore, we, the people of South Africa, black and white, together equals, countrymen, adopt this Freedom Charter, and we pledge ourselves to strive, sparing neither strength nor courage, until the democratic changes set out here have been won." End of quote. Let your family be strengthened. Let your family be consoled. You have given them love. You have given them all. Their pain and hurt is shared by all of us. Go well, my good brother. Go well, my friend. Go well, my co-conspirator. The love and support you gave me will be forever cherished. Go and rest, my countrymen. Go well, the decade of our revolution. A communist from the beginning and a communist to the end. Go well, Tatan. Famba kahle, Tatan. Till we meet again. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Honourable Premier. We request that all speeches should be forwarded, as we are going to be compiling a booklet that will send to the family. But I also want to extend to all members and other colleagues, if you have any form of a message that you have penned down, please also submit it so that it could actually be part of the booklet. Honourable members that were reading from their gadgets, please forward those to my email, then we'll download it for the booklet. Can I also request that we should all fill in the nomination forms that were sent by PDIA, and with immediate effect, colleagues, we need them. I know that it's only about 6 members that have submitted those nomination forms. Please do so. We request you urgently to do so. Thank you very much. Colleagues, we will be having a memorial service starting at 2 at the City Hall, just next door. And the funeral service is on Saturday, starting at 8 at Change Bible Church in Katlehong. We'll send the address for those that might want to drive themselves there. But for honourable members, I think we'll make arrangements that if you need transport, please contact Lunga from my office so that those arrangements can be made for you to be able to be there. Thank you very much. Our next meeting will be on Tuesday, the 23rd of May at 10 hours sharp here at the Gauteng Provincial Legislature. For all the members who submitted apologies, I think we did not read them, but we're going to make note because we can't deal with administration for today. Thank you very much. The family will be around. Those that might want to interact with the family, please feel free to go to the Bar Council. Those that know the Bar Council, I know you'll miss the Bar Council with Honourable Mpisi. They will meet the family there. Thank you very much. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.